Hello everybody, welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary. Today I want to talk to you about the Offerman Edition Caribbean Rum Cask. Now here's the thing, I gotta be honest with you, when I first saw that they were doing a Caribbean rum cask, I was kinda like, I'm out. I've had very bad experiences with these things. If you think of the Tullamore XO, I just did not like that at all. Even the Balvenie 14, I wasn't crazy about with the rum edition, and there's a couple of others, I think Chivas did one. But either way, just in general, I find that distillers have a tough time balancing the maltiness of a single malt with the sweetness of a rum, and it often gives this weird aftertaste. Then I heard that, you know, this was coming out and that Nick Offerman was going to be doing it and Lagavulin was going to be doing it, and frankly they have a good enough track record. I can only think of one of the Offerman editions that was kind of a flop, and it still probably sold fantastically, just not as great. I'll let you guys guess which one that was. But anyway, when I heard that Lagavulin was going to be doing this, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I know that I'm not going to pretend I have any clue how much involvement Nick Offerman has in this, but based off the quality and the fact that he generally just loves whiskey, I gotta imagine he's there. I imagine that he's tasting and helping and whatever. I was willing to roll the dice and put $100 down to see if this was going to be any good. And spoilers, I'm happy I did. But tell me a little something. I was looking forward to this one. I had, despite what I just said, like I was watching is what I mean. I was watching for this one to come out, and I was expecting that it would come out and I would hear all about it or whatever. It just was like very quiet, and for me it just showed up in my local liquor store, and so I was a little surprised when I just randomly stumbled upon it. I was actually there to buy some bourbon, the regular Jim Beam Black 7-year, which I actually just put out a first taste on my Patreon. It'll be free for anybody who wants to go check it out, so the link will be below. As for this bottle, Nick Offerman, who is the face of this whole thing, I'm sure you know him from Community or whatever else he's doing, talking about steak most likely.
Whiskey and a cigar. I'm gonna consume all of this at the same time because I am a free American.
He made this comment about how he likes to sail, and so he sails occasionally from Isla all the way to the Caribbean and then ends up docking in the Gulf of Mexico. It's actually on the box. It's kind of funny, they have the Bermuda Triangle in there. There's like a little part where think like old Family Circus cartoons. It's got like the dotted line shows where he's going, and it does a little loop in the Bermuda Triangle. I appreciate that if anybody there is seeing this. So but I also love the Caribbean. It was where we usually took our vacations when I was a kid. I was definitely very fortunate. We used to take these really nice vacations, but I've been to most of the Caribbean islands and I've loved every time I've gone there. I've learned to water ski there. I went to my first nude beach there, which St. Bart's, much better talent than anywhere here in the US that I've seen at a nude beach. And I learned to scuba dive there. I even did my first shark dive in Roatan, Honduras, which I dug up this old clip just for this video because it's like, I think it was 3 megapixel video. It's like crazy low quality, but awesome. Anyway, so I was all about this and I was certainly willing to give it a shot. This is a 92 proof or 46% ABV bottle of single malt scotch, and the idea is it's aged for 11 years in ex-bourbon and ex-sherry casks. Those are then married together and then finished in an ex-rum cask for 8 months. Now it didn't say which kind of rum, and I actually found myself going down the rabbit hole of trying to find out all of the different types of rum that are common. Like if you think of sherry, there's like 3 or 4 different names of what they use. But with rum, it seems to be a little different, and that's something I'd love to dive into another time. In this case, finished for 8 months, put into a bottle, sold for $80 to $100 depending on your area, and given that it's a limited release, that price point kind of feels about right, if not slightly high. But whatever. Let's go into the nosing and tasting. First thing I'm getting on the nose is this combination of both lemon and brine. So it smells like the ocean, but not nearly as like smoky as some of the Lagavulins will often smell and of course taste. But it's more of this like salt air, but maybe like a little bit of like spice to it, a little dirty, and that smells pretty good. But then it mixes with the lemon, and that's actually nice and refreshing. But it also has this like lower, kind of more full flavor on the nose. I would equate it to toffee, with like a bit of vanilla in there as well. Overall, it smells a little dirty, but not in a bad way. It doesn't smell as sweet as I would expect with the 8 months spent in the rum cask. But let's go ahead and have a taste. Cheers. This is one to not have be your very first sip of the day, but if you do, I mean, whatever, like, hopefully you guys are drinking along with me. What I'm having here is the lemon that was so prevalent on the nose is there, but not as prevalent on the taste. It's almost, let's put it this way. I'm gonna walk you through everything that I'm tasting here. My first sip, as soon as you sip that, it's a very dense, heavy flavor that's reminiscent of toffee. Then there is this oak, vanilla, and just general bourbon flavors going on as well. But it doesn't have the spice that oak sometimes can give it. It doesn't taste in that way. It's more leaning towards the rum, where everything's sweet as well. Almost like a heavy molasses would be a great way to put it. Like a brown sugar, but deeper. And that is, the sweetness is kind of bringing everything up so that that the smoke, which is also there, is being met with just the sweetness with like hints of bourbon. So let me try to do this with my hands, because why not? You've got underlying tones of bourbon. On top of that, you have sweetness mixed with lemon. Then you have your smoke kind of coming in from the side, and all of that is mixing to make this kind of nice, crisp, but still a little dirty flavor. And all of it is reminiscent of Lagavulin with the sweetness of all of that rum cask. So whereas the rum wasn't really coming across on the nose, it's definitely here on the flavor. And this all sounds crazy, but I really enjoy it. So let's go into the overall here. Now, the price comparison is always something I like to think about, even if I don't necessarily really dig into it, especially on limited editions. Regular Lagavulin 8, let's go with the Lagavulin 8. In my area, that's about $50. The 16 is about $90. I think it's $89.99. This bottle is $100. So it's 11 years plus 8, so let's call it 12 years. Should be right in the middle, right? So $75, $80. Plus you get the limited edition and the celebrity endorsement and everything. That's how you get to your $100 price tag. I don't agree with it, but it at least logically makes sense, and I don't feel like they are just bumping up the price because of the name on the box. It feels like everything's kind of accounted for. So price, not an issue, other than the fact that it's a $100 bottle of scotch. So, okay. If you can get past the price, is this worth picking up? Well, when I think about the distiller editions, I've tried all 4 of them. I think I own one other one. I don't own the other 2. I think I have the Guinness one. In this case, this would probably be like my second favorite of the 4. And I think that's great. It's not even just this is the second best one. It's more of a, I like this one, but I like it a little less than the Guinness. So in my opinion, this one would get a buy. And I wouldn't give it a stock 8 or anything like that, because I do think once you're done with this bottle, I think you'll be happy that you've done it. I don't think you'll be happy it's gone, but I also don't think that you'll be eager to buy a second bottle. But something that I'd be interested in doing, and I'd love to hear your input here if you'd like to see it, I would love to do kind of a side-by-side of the 4 Offerman editions so far. I'd have to go out and buy the other 2, which is totally fine. I think I know where I can find them. Let me know in the comments if you would actually like to see that, and if you would, I'll make it happen. So I'd like to do a little bit more stuff with Isla this year. I just feel a little smoky. But all in all, I'm gonna enjoy every sip of this and the bottle, and I would encourage you to go pick this one up. I don't think it'll be too hard to find for the next couple of months, so you should have an easy time. All right, thank you everybody for joining me here on the Whiskey Dictionary. Please remember to like the video. A lot of times people don't like it, and I know you like it because you comment, but the likes are a little further down, and I think you just don't remember to do it. So it helps the channel out a lot. Obviously, check out the Patreon, subscribe, do all those things, but mostly like the video and leave a comment if you'd like it. All right, talk to you soon, and cheers.